This is a water droplet that you're going to see. And in this water droplet, a frequency is being pumped into this water droplet. As the frequency is mirrored in the droplet, you'll actually see the geometric patterns in that droplet. Now what's happening, and the reason that this is so significant, is because we're going to do a frequency sweep. We're going to go from low frequencies to higher frequencies. And what you'll find is this. You'll see that in the lower frequencies, the patterns are less complex. And in the higher frequency, the patterns are more complex. So we're going through a sweep from lower to higher frequency. I'm sharing this with you now because Earth is essentially going through a frequency sweep. Our fundamental pulse, our base pulse that has hovered around 7.8 cycles per second now is changing. And again, there's a lot of controversy about what the change is, and we're witnessing the change.
I hear you.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to raise a superhero?
A body creates an electromagnetic field. So in this case we have 5 separate electromagnetic fields. The 4 on the outside, we will combine our electromagnetic fields, thereby negating the electromagnetic field of the body in the center, which will basically cancel out the pull of gravity, which we all know that if mass has no gravity, then there is no weight. So basically rendering the body in the center weightless. A couple of things. What we're going to do is called hand stacking, basically creating a battery over top of Mike's head, which will combine the 4 electromagnetic fields of our bodies and thereby negating Mike's own field. So start with our left hand.
As we go through our planetary shift of this pulse, patterns of energy must change to respond to that.
How do you give him a normal childhood?
No.
How do you protect him from the world?
Just as patterns of energy in this water are changing to respond to this pulse. And we'll begin with simply the concentric patterns in the water. As the frequency begins, every once in a while we'll reach a key threshold resonance, such as that moment right there. And in that key threshold resonance, the entire pattern morphed into a more complex expression of itself, simply because the frequency changed.
BLAQNJAH, BLAQNJAH, BLAQNJAH. ALLOWANCE, ALLOWANCE, ALLOWANCE.
Now watch what happens. The frequency is still increasing. And watch what happens. As we reach another key threshold resonance, this entire pattern will morph into a beautifully and more complex pattern of itself. Again and again. And look at this pattern right here. Look what you're seeing right here. Look at the beautiful geometry. Here is a perfect cube. There's a perfect tetrahedron, a star tetrahedron. In 2 dimensions, we've got the octahedron. Very powerful images of sacred geometry held in place simply because we've achieved the vibratory pattern that allows that in this water droplet.
For my Dragon Ball Z fans, if you ever notice Goku, Vegeta, when they're powering up, they go from a okay. If you think about the monks, the chant and the vibration, the same thing. If I go from I'm just raising the frequency, speeding it up, okay, and creating a resonance. And so it's the same thing when Vegeta and Goku go. And all they're doing is speeding up the Merkaba, speeding up the energy, their plasma light crystalline being. And so with that being said,
And as the vibration increases, these patterns will become more and more complex. You can see the pulse from where you are. Can you see the pulse actually in the water? As we go into the last set of the frequencies, what you'll see is that the entire, and you'll watch along the outer perimeter, the entire pattern reaches its greatest level of complexity, and then it goes back, as the frequencies drop, it goes back to what it was, the concentric circles, as it was originally. It almost looks alive. You know, you've been offered many times the concept that thought is vibration.
Is that your drill bit?
Yeah.
Okay, that must be the arbor that's all of my... If it was a different size piece of metal, it wouldn't have done it.
Or length or something else.
Thickness and...
Those are cool too.
If you get down real close to it...
Yeah.
That's clear.
I've never seen a wave pattern like that before. Touch it. That's cool. Touch it to stop it.
Have you ever considered that emotion is vibration? Feeling is vibration. We are always feeling something. We are always emoting something. We may not always be aware of what that is. We carry those patterns with us. As we hold a feeling and an emotion, what we're doing is we are holding a vibratory pattern in the liquid crystal of our bodies.
Because the most important thing about raising a superhero is learning how to become one first.